From us. Right. Oh, okay. So I didn't say one of us. This one.
But
January. Are you taking it? Yes. There's no.
Yeah.
I would even change that on Monday.
I think she spent 37.
Not quite.
Good morning and welcome to December 5th Commissioner meeting. You all stand. I'd ask Dana, lead me in the pledge.
I will do that. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Grace Week this morning, the Gray is not here. If you'd all bow, I'd lead us in prayer. Father God, help us as we take care of the county's business. Thank you for the privilege of setting up here and making those decisions. Lead us in our best way, so it's all pleasing to you. All this we ask in your name, amen. Minutes from the last meeting, or any revisions, corrections, questions?
No, I'll move to approve. Second?
So moved. Claims?
I think under the grants, I had one question. For the sheriff's department, Dana, I don't know if you can answer or not, but there was a $4,976 claim put in for an earpiece connector. Any idea what that might have been for?
That was
An earpiece.
that was for, they had to get some more earpieces in.
Okay, I wasn't sure. The connector.
Not
Yeah,
the same.
Connectors. It's a
They're
bulk.
for the radios, so we can connect them to.
So it wasn't a single, it was
No,
No,
it
there
was,
was
it was
multiple.
50 some or 60.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, that's why it confused me when it sounded like it was a single.
Well, that's same here.
Anything else? Claims?
Nothing on the claims, move to accept. Second. Couple under payroll. Payrolls. The last one, Tiffany McFarland, I show has a normal of $1,480.72. She had recorded 1.5 hour of overtime, and it showed that her payout was $1,553. It seems a little extravagant for a half hour overtime.
She had more overtime than that. She was
Yeah.
filling in when she.
I'll have to
been-
look at the schedule.
Yeah, we'd have to look at schedule, but we're very short people right now, and she's been filling in as well as a couple others, so.
So that's probably for more than a
Yeah.
half hour overtime.
Yes, that's pretty good pay for a half hour.
Yeah, that's kind of what we thought.
Is
We can
that,
take a look at that.
I'll fill in now.
We'll take
need
it.
night shift?
What time can you be there?
Anything else?
That's all I had.
Okay, we got two payrolls here.
Move to approve on the first 2-week period.
Second. I'll concur on that.
And with the explanation, I'll move to approve with the second 2-week period.
I'll second that one. Concur on that. Christie. Mr. Todd Howe.
Oh, I've got a few things to report on. We're still working down there on Bridge 73. Bridge is complete, which is on 150 north in between 850 east and 950 east. We're still working on the road widening, trying to get that finished up. Well, we still got, hopefully we can get it done before we get some weather. We finished Berman on 80 West. We had that closed for a couple days. It was open to emergency traffic and school buses. We was Berman down there. Now we're working on the ditches and got a culvert pipe down there to replace. We're gonna start Berman on 50 East today. I think we'll be done with that today. We finished that on 1250 South, of putting in a pipe and raising the road, working with soil and water on that project. Trucks are ready for snow, not all of them, but we got quite a few ready in case something happens. Next project we're getting ready to go to, I think we're moving to today is on 50 North, the dead end. Culvert pipe, erosion just washed away some of the road. So we need to get down there, it's undersized, we're putting in a couple 36-inch arc pipes, raising the road as well down there. And we're out mowing and we're out patching. So that's all we got. Do you gentlemen have anything for me?
Nothing here.
Chris,
I don't have anything for you today.
Kenny.
Morning, Danny.
Morning.
Since our last meeting, I've had 35 building inspections, 2 new permits and plan reviews. I did 2 red tags, one on hole inspection for a new deck, hole for too shallow, homeowner corrected the violation the next week. And the second was on final inspection, on having a GFI receptacle in the bathroom. Builder corrected the problem and a certificate of occupancy was issued. Had 2 complaints on nuisance properties. I visited one and a letter was drafted and sent. The next one I have not visited yet, and I received a call from the health department about a damaged trailer with a leaking roof and missing sidewall. Next time I'm in that area, I'll get pictures and draft a repair or removal letter, depending on the amount of damage. I did draft and send a second letter to a nuisance complaint property from last month that I hadn't got around to. Got it taken care of. I sent both of those to you guys. That's all I got.
Kenny. Thanks. Steve, you have a.
Yeah, a couple things. Last month, the commissioners awarded a project to Dave O'Meara Contractors, to install a water main down Park Road and 200 West. Since that time, O'Meara has returned to construction contract with signatures, the correct bonds and insurance. So we're asking the commissioners to approve that contract and go ahead and put a signature on that, and we will get the project started.
Motion to.
I move to approve. Second.
Mark concur. Sign that afterwards.
Yeah, I've got here, sign backwards.
You got the contract for the Power of the Pass ground lease. Been working on dates and getting that. And Chad brought that back to us this morning. It's in order. Power of the Pass has approved it. We need to officially approve it. It's a total of $12,000 per year. Some of it's ground cash rent lease and others is use of the fairgrounds during the Power of the Pass, and then building site lease. So, any questions on that?
Move to approve.
Second.
No, concur. I have on here a vacate of an alley. Anyone, Andy, you got that? Okay,
Let me stand there here.
just wherever.
Yeah, I'm here representing Sean Wildy. He owns 4 lots in Forest Hill. One of the lots, there's a current residence. The other 3 lots, there's a couple sheds. What he's wanting to do, he wants to bring in I believe it's a double wide, pre-manufactured home on the front lot out on, I guess it was phase 695 West. The reason for the request to vacate an alley, and it's a half of a street on the east side of Forest Hill, is the septic site will have to go on the 2 empty lots that he owns to the east. But there's a platted alleyway there. And then the health department's been out there for the perimeter drain. It's going to have to cross the neighboring farmer's property, Robert Hedger's property. He's agreed. He actually wanted, I guess, said it'd be a good idea to put that perimeter drain in because he's got a low spot there in his field. That would also help the drainage in his field. And then there's a little ditch there. I don't know if do you guys see any maps of what this looks like or
Haven't seen
anything?
anything. All new to us this morning.
So these are the 4 lots he owns. Existing house there. He wants to put a house here. Septic has to go back here. And a perimeter drain's going to come out here. And there's a ditch right here. This is Robert's property.
Okay.
So the only way to connect the septic to the house and then the perimeter drain is to request that this alley, and this is actually a half street, because this is the far east end of Forest Hill. We need to request that those 2 things get vacated so that he can put his house and septic in. If they're not vacated, I don't think we can do it.
This is an existing road, a county road?
It's an existing platted street, but nothing's ever been built on it.
Okay.
It goes all the way down the east side, and it's only like 25 feet, it's either 25 or 33. So I've got the original plat. It's, they intended this to be an expansion of Forest Hill, and then they would have donated or dedicated the other half of the street on this side, but obviously Forest Hill never grew anymore. So that's what he's needing. I know Abby.
Todd, this been through you guys or not?
We brought this through, we talked to Mark Moore, and he's supposed to, Mark suggested that from now on, what he requested was any potential vacations of streets or alleys in the county, he wanted them to go through the tech review committee, which Tim Wortman always sits in on that, Chris is in on that, whoever. They all thought it was a good idea. The comp plan says we want to see growth in small towns, but you don't have that much growth in Forest Hill.
So there's no utility, electric or anything going down that alley, right? Correct.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we can call in utility locates.
Well, just don't wanna.
Yeah, I called rural water. There's no water back there in that area. It goes right down the front. It's 695.
There's no electric service that
Yeah, I didn't call the electric company, but yeah, we'd have to look at it.
shut them off if there
I
is
don't
electric.
think there is, but we'd have to check it.
Wiley's aren't here. I mean, you're representing.
I'm representing Sean because he's working.
Okay. But the tech review is okay with it?
Yeah,
You know, I know Jennifer McNeely's here, she's a neighbor, so.
Is
she
that
might
why you
have
guys
some-
are here to talk about
Some
this?
insight on the electric, where the electric runs out there.
There's no electric back there. It all runs between the alley on the north, or on the west of that.
But he owns all 4 of these
He
lots.
owns all 4 of those.
Okay.
So what'll happen is if this gets vacated, then these 3 lots and this will have to be replatted, surveyed and put together into one parcel. And then we'll have to, also do the drainage easement across Robert's property. So there'll have to be 2 surveys if this gets, vacated. I don't know if we want to let.
You guys want to speak about this before we?
I just had some questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
So do I need to stand up or the microphone, or does it matter? So there's a fence back there that separates the field from the, where the half street is. Is that fence going to be moved? I mean, I know like with alleys, or my understanding is whatever that width is, half goes to one property owner and half goes to another. So I'm not worried about that alley, but that half street, is the fence going to be moved, or is part of that going to be?
The way the law reads on that, since that half of the street is on the east edge of town, if that half street is vacated, that whole half street goes to Sean Wild. Because these farmers over here, they never dedicated any land back in
1852.
1850 to put in, that's why it's only a half a street. If Forest Hill would have been expanded and this farmer would have dedicated the other half of the street, if that was vacated, then he would get half the street back. So when you're on the edge of these little towns like this, the streets only go back to the owners of the lots in that subdivision, that platted area. You can't legally give any of that street back to the farmer Robert, because in 1850, they didn't give any, so that whole half the street would go back to Sean. And then that's why the easement for the drainage, for the perimeter drain, would butt up to that back fence between Robert and that half street, and then run just east about 300 feet. And then you hit a ditch that's down in like a tree line. That's where the perimeter drain would outlet.
Awesome, thank you. The only other thing I have to say is I appreciate Sean and Christina keeping their resources here and growing where they were planted, because that's where she grew up in Forest Hill. And I encourage the commissioners to honor their request or say yes to their request. I think it's a good idea, and enable them to build and help improve the community down there. I think it's a great thing.
This is
That is another street, but it's never been improved. You can see the street over here, there's a road, but this street, you can kind of see there's just a path where people drive back. So I mean, that's a platted street, like this is a platted street, but nothing's ever, maybe they just drive over the grass, but.
result. This building is partially on this alley already.
I know,
And
and
on these
some of
streets,
those in there too, but we're not requesting, we don't need any of that vacated. I know, dealing with highway department, they don't want to vacate any more than necessary in case the county wants to put other utilities, drainage, other things back there.
So this has not been on the tax roll, nor has this.
No.
So it will become taxable.
So both on the tax roll. I've been working with Abby on this, so I've been submitting all my paperwork. She kind of took over for Rhonda, so I've just been submitting everything through Abby on this one.
Well, that helps me understand. I said it helps me understand what's going on.
Just for a new construction of a new house.
All right, well,
You want this?
make motion to accept the vacate. We're vacating both of those.
Yeah, we need to vacate the alley and this half street to connect, since the house will sit up here, to connect the septic system and then to connect the perimeter drain Cross Roberts. We need both.
I move that we vacate both pieces of property that are referenced in that request.
Second.
I'll concur. Good to go.
Didn't you put it in the folder?
I talked to Abby last week. Is there
Yes, she
a
should
copy
have.
of the ordinance in your folder?
I saw nothing.
All right, I'm gonna walk out and talk to Abby real quick. And I'll be back.
Anything else?
Yeah, just
Okay.
a couple things. One, to just let you know that Homeland Security came in last week, did a re-inspection. We completely passed with no issues whatsoever. And just as a sort of a pre-warning, we currently have an RO system on the water for the dishwasher in the kitchen, and we have a water softener for the kitchen water. Nothing else is softened in our facility. And we're having a lot of problems with scaling. We're having to rebuild very expensive mixing valves. We're just plain having a lot of problems. Just so you know that, it's going to continue to be a maintenance problem because of water. City water is horrible from a scaling standpoint. At some point, I don't know if you want to consider an entire softening system, but that would be unbelievably expensive. But just a pre-warning, we're already having a lot of problems. These mixing valves, we have 7 of them, and they're $5,000 a piece. Rebuild kits are $1,500, and we've already had to rebuild 2 of them. So I'm just letting you know the good news in the future, okay?
Well, I guess I appreciate knowing that.
Yeah, sorry.
Any idea what a whole system water softener would cost?
I have not looked into it, but the size of I'd hate to guess. I mean, it's got to be in the 50 to 100,000 range, I would think. But I don't know that for a fact. It's not gonna be any less than I can pretty much assure you that.
Well, thanks for that report. Anyone else? Motion to,
Board appointments, we do those. You know, wait,
you want to go for them?
I don't think we can make them all, but we can do some.
Okay,
ABC Commission, we do have one that expires at the end of the year, and that's Mike McCoy. I spoke with him, and he said he would agree to go with another term. I moved to reappoint Mike McCoy.
second that.
We have one on the animal control. I've got an individual that is checking to make sure that it's not a conflict of interest at the state position. So we need to wait until the next time on that one. Area plan, Paul Stone, expires at the end of December. We need to reach out and see if he wants to continue or if we need to replace.
I'm sorry. Paul Stone, you moved to,
No, we need to
make sure he
make
wants
sure
to.
he
Oh,
still
yeah,
has to stay on. Board of Zoning Appeals, Gary Fisher. Again, we need to find out if he wants to continue, if we need to make a new appointment.
He's not up.
Yeah, there was one that Chris and I spoke about. I think Gary Fisher took over someone's,
Partial.
a partial year, so he's not up until next year, right? Is that right?
Yes,
Okay,
I can only go off of what you
I
guys
know,
give
I know,
us.
I'm telling you, though, that
Yeah,
that was a.
he
was
did that. He
mistake.
finished Roger Krasinowski's last year. And then when it was reported, they put him in as that year, and then the 4 years would have been now, but he was reappointed 3 years ago. So he's up
Right,
next year.
next year, so. he comes
County Attorney, Chad Smith is up at the end of the year. If he will accept it, I move to reappoint him for another year.
That's just a nod.
Yes.
I would wholeheartedly second that.
I would agree, thanks, yeah.
Hospital Board, we have 2 appointments ending at the end of December. One is Brian Robbins, and the recommendation is that we reapprove him for another term. And the second one is Stephen Stringer, who wishes to no longer serve, and yeah, he's termed out. Sarah Reisman has been recommended as replacement for his. I move to approve both of those.
Second.
No, you can, I've met with Sarah, excellent choice.
Lake Santee Regional Waste and Water, I have not contacted either of the 2 that we have up. So we'll push those to the next meeting. Property tax assessment, we have 2, Jeff Whitaker, Shelley Hadler, and I've not contacted either.
Doreen.
As far as I know, they want to continue.
Yeah, she sent me an email, I think, both of those was okay.
On-
Continue on the tax
Okay,
reassessment.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Public defender is Drew Young. Does anyone have contact with Drew?
I have not.
We'll push that to the next meeting. Service officer for VA, Mike Baumgartner. I move to approve for another term.
Second.
Solid waste management, it's the 3 commissioners. So we need to approve Jeremy, Mark, and myself for another year. I move to approve.
I'll second.
Tourism, we have 2 appointments expiring. We need to decide between now and the next meeting how we wish to continue there.
Did you get my email on that, on the tourism?
About needing to be a hotel person.
Yes, and then also the Stephanie is local, she is still local and wishes to remain on it.
Stephanie is not our appointment, that's council appointment.
Okay, I emailed them then, sorry.
Southeastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. Jerome has been serving as commissioner appointment. So I'll ask if he would like to continue or if we move that over to Jeremy.
I think it'd be best to keep it as a
As
sitting commissioner.
Jeremy, you okay with that? He left.
So, yes.
And I'll get him this back.
There you go. The redevelopment TIF committee. I think we need to touch base with them. We'll do that next meeting.
Don, I did talk to Don. We don't need to do that, but Don is agreeable. So.
Okay. We need to check with the other 2. And the health board, I'm waiting on their recommendations. So we'll do that at the next meeting.
Okay, got notes made.
Yep.
We have this, she brought this ordinance. For that alleyway cave. We voted to do that, so you sign that. I'll listen to it. Motion to recess.
Move to recess.
We are recessed. Thank y'all for coming.
Didn't mention the $6,500 to rebuild my video.
That's enough.